win for Red Reserve. Raiden now playing all alone on an island. You saw he had that thermal, but he doesn't see anything, so he changes right away. He's gonna spot one, but there's Kenny once again with the first blood on to Joe.
The ICR working for him yet again. So bomb planted and they get the first 2 kills. They had control of top mid, now pushing into garage with Bance. There's one deep out in water. That's actually gonna be Kenny. I thought Kenny was about to have a free kill, but he doesn't spot Bance with a flag, and Bance actually able to get a couple of kills, so it's quickly a 3v3. And Kenny looks like he was looking more towards Boathouse, and Bance has now ripped them apart. 3 for him, but Kenny gets one off a bomb, a tough gunfight, and he's able to back up as we've got another 2v2. Kenny once again tagged, but he re-challenges 1 versus 1. Kenny versus Scraps, only 10 seconds remaining. Not enough time here for Scraps to try and hop on the bomb, and again, Kenny clutches up.
If you are a 100 Thieves fan, you are so happy because finally Kenny is playing at the level that we saw him play at last year. One of the best players in the world for all year long, and we just haven't seen that. It just felt like he was playing maybe not a bit of a different role, but he was just so clutch last year, and now you're seeing it here.
Also, though, it seems like they shouldn't have been in that position. Like, I guess I thought maybe Kenny out in water should have been the one maybe worrying about that push through garage. Like, who else? Oh, I guess Slasher was like top lobby, so maybe that was on him. But the fact Bance got to that position, actually shot free in the back, things kind of fell apart. But honestly, it's been the tale of both teams sort of letting a round collapse, then being able to clutch up in the final moments to get a round win. What was Kenny, 175 off streak? So he was pretty darn close.
I mean, you can see, you have Kenny with 7, and Slasher and Priesta have 2 combined right now, so Kenny definitely carrying the load for 100 Thieves. Just trying to find a kill on a Joe. Joe just able to stay alive for so long inside that position. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes with that ICR, that movement can just get you.
Priesta gets gunned down. ICRs across the board as Bance at 0. Get a couple kills. That's a clean one for them at fences. There's no success really on 100 Thieves side. They weren't able to find anything.
Yeah, just started with Joe. I mean, 100 Thieves read it correctly. They set up around the fences area with those ICRs. We're trying to find, that first blood, but Joe just able to stay alive for so long and able to find those kills. Just played it very, very well.
Well, that's now back-to-back defenses where they've had trouble kind of dealing with Red Reserve at fences. Anything you think maybe they can change up to try and deal with the offense of Red?
Well, maybe get a little bit more aggressive, right? You obviously are set up with ICRs, but there's nobody pushing those fences. Maybe have a guy like Priesta just grapple on over.
If there's going to be somebody, you think it's got to be him, right? Scraps now going to pull out the sniper as he's sitting at 2-2. A passive offense so far, at least at 100 Thieves, behind the TAC 5.
How did
Joe finds an opening. A little bit of a whirlwind, but he's able to finish the kill. It will get traded out almost immediately. But how does he get into garage? Was it just a push across bottom middle and he's got a fortunate timing?
Just found an opening, yeah.
Now it looks like 100 Thieves have opted to get towards the A site. You hear the trophy out for Red Reserve. Scraps not able to connect, so that'll allow Kenny to get into that U connector. They hear the snipe, but Octane not ready at all. The wall bank comes through as well onto bomb, so that's gonna back up the bomb planner. 3v2 though, 400 Thieves. Kenny challenges another one as he's on another level right now. And I think he knows it, Joe.
Yeah, he's vibing pretty hard right now. I mean, that was, obviously, Raiden has an ICR in that position.
Well, that's why though I think it's been said by some pro players that it's been a confidence thing for Kenny, because I feel like he still was challenging things like that, but when he wasn't shooting straight or wasn't playing well, they don't go your way. Once you're starting to feel confident though, winning those gunfights, suddenly playing like that seems to work out.
Well, and it comes back to the roster change, right? Like, a lot of people thought it should have been Kenny, and
yeah,
I mean, the management was just like, no, we still believe he can turn into this player.
It's looking smart right now, isn't it?
Yep, just one day, but yeah, again, you're starting to see some bright signs. That's great.
It's a small body of work, but will it build into something special like last year, who was probably the best player throughout the course of the year? But into round 5, they changed it up this time, so Red Reserve maybe expecting a more aggressive defense at 100 Thieves towards that A side. They go ahead and hit B towards Rock, but top hall's just locked down by Octane and Slasher. So they'll get the bomb plant, but now the swarm about to come in from under Thieves. Gray to just back it up. Joe by himself trying to deal with Connector. 3 players will be pushing in. Joe trying to be the hero, but he's going to be the last guy up. It's a miracle he survives as long as he does, but finally he's going to fall, and that'll be the first defensive round on the board for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and you see what they do. They give up that B bomb plant, and we've seen that from time to time. Why? Because honestly, there's not a lot of line of sights where you can see the defuse. One is top halls, which 100 Thieves controlled, and the other is you have to jump out of water or go around that rock statue, and it's tough to continuously hold those positions with defensive players sliding on in. So 100 Thieves just gets top halls control, just like we're seeing right here, and then from there on they go to garage and they just swarm.
Couple of nice kills there from Octane's POV. There's been so much talk, I feel, about, there's so many superstars on this lineup. It's like sometimes you feel like some of the other guys disappear. You spend so much time talking about what form Kenny's going to be on. You talk about the new addition in Priesta, what Slasher's capable of. I feel like sometimes we forget about Octane and how talented he is day in and day out. Just a lot of weapons on this squad.
Yeah, Octane, Slasher, it just does it. It goes on.
Yeah. Nice job by Joe, right in the push through Rock, and finds 2 top halls. So maybe a little bit frustrated with that position that 100 Thieves has been able to get. This time they punish him there, but you still have Kenny and Octane alive. And Kenny's the scary spot as he has more kills than the rest of his team combined, and he's working for streaks. So how do him and Octane try to play this? You got to try and set him up, you'd think, to at least get the lighting.
Yeah, trying to find any kills they can, and Red Reserve's playing their defense so differently than 100 Thieves, because 100 Thieves is giving up that B side where you'll see that's where Red Reserve is just putting a lot of pressure on that rock statue. Joe was able to get through bottom middle that previous defensive round, and it could just be to 100 Thieves the pace that they're playing at. They're playing, very slow, not committing to a bomb site early on.
And it looks like they're just going to opt to keep Kenny alive and try to get these streaks. It doesn't look like Red's going to go hunting right now. They're just kind of holding their spots, expecting maybe a play around the objective, but that doesn't seem to be the plan at all for 100 Thieves. And you like this, just stay alive, keep Kenny up. And in a situation where it's a 2v4, it's not like you can easily get a bomb plant in. Like, he has it to get down, but you see Scraps patrolling out towards A, still the 3 stack out towards B. They don't find an easy opening, don't find an easy kill, so let's continue to try and work on those streaks in the next round.
Yeah, especially a map like Hacienda, maybe if it's a map like Frequency, it's a little bit different, or Gridlock, where those streaks, it's hard for them to find good use. Where on a map like Hacienda, you could stack a bomb site, the other one's out in the open, you can find a lot of kills. So they know those could be the game changers.
Well, now the big thing is, can he actually get him? Joe on your screen right now, he's been huge well throughout the search and destroy, whether it's trying to clutch up late in rounds like we saw really that opening round inside of you, or finding first bloods like he's been able to do a couple of times. Joe's been fantastic. He's 8-3, and the TAC 5 comes in from Red, but we're showing Kenny's POV for now just to see if he can actually pick up these streaks. Some damage in, but somebody's got to finish the kill, and yet again, everybody falling around him, so he might get put in a tough spot yet again where he needs to make a decision. A little bit different, though, this time being on the defensive end of things.
Well, there's that adjustment, though, that we were talking about. Both Priesta and Enable do just get so aggressive towards that A side. They just don't win the gunfights. The TAC 5 boost, I'm sure, helped on the side of Red Reserve. Slasher did find one with the cluster to try to bring it back, and now can he find the wall bang with the ICR? Stop shooting, that player gets away.
Yeah, got him off the bomb, though. Got him off the bomb, so no plant in yet. 45 seconds remaining. Slasher in trouble, though. He gets tagged, I think, as the heal is going through, so never gets it fully in. As Kenny still trying to get these streaks. The plant comes in, and once again, Kenny and Octane in a 2v4.
I think he just run away with this. I'm not sure you can do anything in this situation.
It was the same situation, just opposite ends of the spectrum with regards to offense and defense, but the tale of will Kenny get streaks is going to continue into another round more than likely.
We've had such big emphasis on Kenny, but it's those 2 aggressive players in Priesta and Enable who are really getting shut down, and really it's from a guy like Joe who's 8-4.
I mean, Kenny, great, you're 11-2, but yes, when Priesta and Enable are combining for 1-12, he's going to need to have an even bigger performance, but as he continues to try to work for these streaks, that's back-to-back rounds they're going to drop, and now Red Reserve in control as they'll lead this one 4-3. Excellent job from them releasing those opening moments, back-to-back rounds in which they find the first 2 kills. They're in a 5v3 on both sides of the map almost instantaneously. The previous round, Joe gets pushed up through that mid-connector by Rock, finds the opening 2 kills on the top hall with a SOG. This time, you punish Priest and Enable, who tried to get aggressive, can't get anything going. You have the TAC 5 behind that, and it's just a 5v3 like that. Flip of the switch, you put 100 Thieves on their back.
And now we'll see what adjustments both these teams will be making, right? You know, we're about 7-8 rounds in. Starting to get a feel for the map, and Red Reserve once again playing so heavy towards that B side. They don't want the bomb to go down there. They'll retake towards A, and for Kenny, this is exactly what you want, because they're going to give him the bomb and he's going to plant it, but he's got to be careful. Those players are backing on up. Is he going to get caught planting the bomb? That player just trying to peek it, and he plants out wide right so we can't get wall banged.
He gets the TAC 5 as well with that plant. The lightning to use as well. Nice shot by Vance. Connects, and that opens up that right lane. That knock allows Joe to push forward. Now Joe's gonna get the kill. Kenny's gonna have to use his streak almost immediately. Somehow he doesn't get anything. It funnels them forward as they push up towards this archway.
But it bought him time, and now it's on Enable. Enable going all the way around. They know they have to check it. Nobody's on it for Red Reserve. Enable just starts wall banging it, and there we go. Red Reserve able to retake it even with this streak coming in.
3 rounds in a row now for Red. So yes, you finally get the streaks on Kenny. They come up empty. The struggles for Priest and Enable continue as they're at 2 and 14 combined. And Red rolling now. I mean, we've talked about the search to destroy woes of 100 Thieves at times. I think you're seeing it over these last 3 rounds. They just can't seem to get anything to click.
I mean, even in their first match against Evil Geniuses, there was a point where EG won 3 rounds.
Yeah, it was 5-2, and it ends up going to around 11. So obviously they had to get bailed out by Kenny. Well, he was almost handed a 1v3. Zero does have that grab slam. Definitely one of the better players with that specialist in the game. He was thinking maybe there'd be aggression towards fences, ready to pop it, but nothing there. They do have Enable at mid-map. He's gonna back up the back bar, and they'll go ahead and get this plant down. 100 Thieves now have to get the retake. War Machine gonna come in from the side of Scraps, and that's just gonna buy him time, right? Only 45 seconds to get the defuse. He pulls that out. 10 more wasted off the clock. You still haven't found an opening if you're 100 Thieves, and they've got to go and make a play here shortly.
They got to go now. I mean, there's just no map pressure yet. 25 seconds left. Kenny finds one. Scraps, though, there's that War Machine. He held on to a couple of shots. War Machine out from Slasher trying to find a kill. I just don't know if there's enough time. It's Scraps and Zero able to fly on in, and this should be all Red Reserve as Enable was left alone.
That'll tie us up. Red get on the board 4 rounds in a row in that search and destroy. And if you're the 100 Thieves side, I mean, you have a, 12 and 3 performance from Kenny, but that's just not gonna be enough. You've got Priesta and Enable with just abysmal game 2s, but what a performance there from Red. They get on the board, and it's gonna be Control coming up next. One of the best modes for either team. Don't go anywhere.
Game Fuel. Level up the game.
Welcome back to 100 Thieves versus Red Reserve. We're all tied up at 1-1. It's Control coming up next, and I think this is the one that we were the most excited for in this particular matchup because both teams are astounding when you talk about Control. I think it's like something like 18-6 for Red Reserve since they've played it on land. 15-4, I believe is what it is for 100 Thieves. So both have been very, very good in this mode really since the get-go.
Yeah, you can see that right there, 16-4, best in the CWL. And you also have to note though, for Red Reserve, while they are 18-6, they are 18-6, but they went 9-1 at the Pro League qualifier. So there's some stock,
That's
you know,
true.
like
Okay.
they weren't playing the best teams in the world at that qualifier, but still, it's one of their better game modes.
And it's gonna go down on Gridlock. We just saw Red Reserve rip off 4 straight rounds in that search to take it from 3-2 to a 6-3 victory. Impressive stuff from them, and now they have to carry that into this game 3. And I mean, these teams, you could not talk about having different series to kick it off. It's a quick 3-0 for 100 Thieves to start their tournament, and a gut-wrenching game 5 for Red Reserve to begin. What will we get now in this series as Priesta grapples right into A, and Slasher finds the opening pick. Joe is going on a quick flank, but it looks like it's already getting picked up by Octane.
Yeah, nobody went down.
Or Kenny, sorry.
So they immediately know that the flank is wide open on the side of 100 Thieves, and they're just gonna watch it. Already 2 ticks come in, and they might think that Red Reserve's given up on this. Joe's gonna throw a life away, but that's already 5 dead for Red Reserve. Finally a kill comes in, but a very quick A hit works out well, and now we're gonna transition over to B.
And Rated, the guy that likely could have been the biggest pain in that opening push from 100 Thieves towards B, is gonna fall as he tries to get set up at kind of their back throat, getting towards that back elbow. But Vance there to pick it up instantly, so they'll have some pressure on that side. Unfortunately for them on the other end of things, Kenny, Octane, and Naval. There's a 3-man front coming in from 100 Thieves. They continue to take gunfights. They're picking apart the spawn from Red Reserve. So you really have to hope they can hold on the other end of things. That's all going to fall to Vance to try and do it. As Vance falls, everything seems to be crumbling right now for Red Reserve.
And that's all it does, right? It's just to set up that guy who's at the front of the street. It puts Vance in such a tough position. Do I back up? Do I just hold my position? Because the guys that come out of boxes, they're just gonna get on that zone, and Vance is like, well, I have to help you guys somehow. As soon as he starts to go back, he gets caught, and now you have full control for 100 Thieves.
Could be a very quick round for them as they're already starting to get some progress here towards B, just trying to take the gunfights at 18. They do just that. 4 down. They've got 2 or 3 stacked inside. This goes very, very quickly, and that reminded me, I wonder why I didn't see it going up. It's because it's the gray circle, and they're gray right now. I was looking at it, I was like, why? I was like, is it contested? I don't see where they are. I was so confused.
But that was just what we saw earlier in their match against EG. Round number 1, they came out swinging. They had a perfect break. I'll tell you what, their start-offs are incredible. Just off from what we've seen in the respawns. Talk about Arsenal Hardpoint. They went out to 2 50-point leads. Their first round in control of both matches.
Good for Red. They don't have 6 streaks like they did against EG after that first round. But still, yeah, they looked very, very comfortable right out the gate. Slasher on your screen now. It's a guy that, I mean, he has a lot of championships to his name, but still I think a lot of people think he hasn't won as maybe as much as he deserves for the level of talent he has. This might be the roster that gets it done for him.
And well, Red Reserve, very similar to what 100 Thieves did. They just go to that A site, that first blood comes on through. Priest is on the flank, just basically in the same position that Joe was. You do have one player in Octane just staying towards that B site in case there's a split push. And for 100 Thieves, it's not about really getting back in and trying to save the zone. It's about the kills. If they could just waste Red Reserve's lives so that when they do focus on the B site, they don't have as many. That's all that sort of secondary objective is for them.
Well, it will be a 2-life deficit as they start to focus towards B. The difference here, though, is really, I mean, out the gate, 100 Thieves, they got off of that A site. They were able to push through back garden and apply pressure almost immediately to the spawn of Red Reserve. Red Reserve haven't found the same success in the opening, really on either side yet, but now it's gonna be this 3-man hit. Really, Priesta and Kenny have their work cut out for them, and so far they seem up to the task. They deal with the first person pushing through bottom mid, and now they have to deal with Zero, who's found a pick.
And when we saw 100 Thieves, as soon as they captured A and went towards B, all the gunfights were going their way. They were able to just snowball it out of control. But it's been the opposite so far as 100 Thieves able to just stabilize. They haven't even touched the B zone yet. Bance and Traps are able to find some kills. Priestad trying to stay up, but does get taken out. So here should be a good push. And once again, it's a split push. You'll see that number 2, that's Octane. He's been near this B area for so long, so he does get taken down at the front. We'll see what they can do. They're just waiting for the split push to come on through, but it's just trades back and forth.
Well, as soon as they turn around to help, that should be an opening for Scraps. That's exactly what it is. Their heads have to turn as they try to focus back towards the front. And Scraps gets one, but the reinforcements there so quickly from 100 Thieves. I mean, just looking at the map, how with the spawn, how easily they're able to get back into the mix of things. But there is still a presence here from Red Reserve. The capture is starting to get in. First point now on the board. Well, as I say that, it actually gets contested right before they get the first tick in. So it's not quite done yet. There we go. They're able to get through the first tick.
And just due to how fast that first round was, you don't have any specialists just yet. Usually towards the end of round 2, you may see some Priestad getting close to Grab Slam, but that's about it. Yeah, everybody's loading on up, but round 1 was just so fast.
We'll see if they can stretch out this round a bit. But someone's going to have to get into contest. Now Streaks coming in from Rated. The next contest is there. Priest able to pick up a kill and at least thwart this push for now. But the reinforcements now coming in from either side. Red Reserve still with a presence in. Rated finds both Streaks. He's going to get stunned. The push to come in, but he has backup. He has help there. Because I believe that's Scraps who got into Sushi with him. He's going to go ahead and use the lightning. So I guess that maybe a small win for Thunder Thieves towards the end of that is at least you contest hard enough that you make them use a streak, but it's still a round victory there for Red.
It's one of those situations where they're at 7 lives, right? It's 7-4. If those 4 were to come in and just win one fight, you know, then at that point, you're forcing maybe a 3 versus 3 or a 4 versus 2 in favor of 100 Thieves. So I think he just wants to secure that round.
Oh, 100%.
He doesn't want to.
No, I think it was a smart use, but at one point I think it was 7-13 in live, so you might have been able to get that victory without having to use the streak, but they just want to use it, secure it. So far, both offenses get it done. Rated, who's had some sensational maps over the first couple of series, looking to keep it going here. A guy that I think is sometimes he's his own biggest critic, can be down on himself when he's not performing. Always wants to be at his best. I'm excited to see what he's got here at Fort Worth. Now a bit of a different opening, at least for the defensive side now from Red Reserve. It was basically 4 down immediately for them towards this inner showers. This time they smoke 100 Thieves off that opening break. Did you see any kind of change to the defensive setup there?
Well, it was Bance who brought out another ICR. He sets up with an ICR and he's able to just find a couple of easy kills. They must have lined on up on the 100 Thieves side, and as soon as that happens, the numbers go their way, and now you're in a tough spot. All the map control goes the way of Red Reserve, and just as I say that, that's going to be 3 dead for Red, but Rated still able to stay alive. He was on a 14 spree?
17-6, yes, he was at 14 in a row. He has been sensational so far in Fort Worth. Some fancy plays from him, but finally he will end up dropping. But what an incredible start, 18-6. But both streaks have now been exhausted. But look, he's already close to picking up one of the tougher specialists to get. His vision pulse very close to being locked and loaded.
So 100 Thieves just Yoda A. There's nobody here from Red Reserve. You see number 6 though. Look at Joe in such a sneaky position all the way towards this back garden. Does spot one. Let's see if 100 Thieves checks this corner. It looks like this player Slasher, that's a heads up play just to know that he could be in that position to try to lock them in. But now next up is Scraps, and he just gets melted.
And this isn't as scary a situation if you're on offense. If you're 100 Thieves, yes, you're down in lives. But it's just that one push, that one break where you can flip everything on its head. So they've got a good 2-3 solid cracks to this as a full team push, and they have 90 seconds on the clock. Obviously, you love to be up in lives, but may not hurt them if they can get one clean break.
Yeah, plus Red Reserve, though. They have a lot of specialists to sort of stop that contest, right? Inside of Sushi, you have that grab slam. Scraps is getting close to War Machine. I think War Machine out. No, that is from Scraps, so he just popped it. He pops it right away. Tries to just stop the first push, and he finds a couple of kills, and it does just that.
They'll increase the advantage up to 8, but Octane, well, they line up for him there as he gets 2, and that allows Slasher to get right into Sushi. He has his War Machine, not opting to pop it quite yet.
I think you hear Vision Pulse. Yeah, Vision Pulse for Rated. 0 goes on in. That's just what I was talking about. They had so many specialists ready, and now you have an 11 life advantage, 20-9 for Red Reserve.
And you get 3 off with a grapple play, and now he gets a fourth before he ends up dropping, but the advantage just continues to grow. Now you've really got one solid push at this, and Joe's going to be able to stagger it as he is pushed into top broken. So they've got to deal with him before they can really even try to make a play. You see that number 2 Octane trying to hunt him down. They're relying on Priesta to maybe make a play on the other side of the map, and as he drops, things get even more difficult. 25 seconds to work with. Slasher gets picked from behind. Joe, just incredible stuff inside of Broken to make sure there's no last chance effort from 100 Thieves. As they're up big, and this is looking like it's going to be a 2-1 edge, at least in the control right now for Red.
At least for 100 Thieves, you don't have, any more streaks on the side of Red Reserve. They use a lot of specialists. This should be...
So what you had the Lightning, you had the Hellstorm, you used what?
Vision Pulse,
War Machine, and Grab Slam, right? They still attack 5 on Joe. I think we saw at the tail end of that, so they've got a little bit to work with, but you definitely have a specialist weapon advantage here, at least to get this to a round 5, and then what does the picture look once we get to round 5?
Yeah, how dominant of a round is this?
Yeah.
If 100 Thieves closes out very quickly, maybe they can save a specialist or 2 going into round 5, then that advantage flips on its head. But if they're longer rounds, that's when Red Reserve, that specialist advantage, that sort of specialist economy comes into their favor.
Yeah, they didn't do a great job the first time on defense either. I mean, Red kind of ran through them. Priesta, though, if anyone's going to be making the play down the stretch here as this control gets into the later rounds, it may very well be him. But so far, it's been the Rated show. He's at 20-9. Priesta, he's right up there with him at 21-16. Maybe just not as efficient as we've seen, but the tags starting to come in. Octane's got a couple players on all fours.
Oh, they chained!
They chained together. There's 2, but what happens there? Is it a cluster that comes through and Octane gets picked up by his teammate as he's trying to get flashy there inside of Sushi?
It was either a cluster or the War Machine. That was just bad communication between Slasher and Octane. I don't think Octane thought he was going to stay alive. I didn't think the chain was going to come through.
So you pull out Tempest and War Machine right away.
They almost lost B. Slasher, everybody finds kills, but Joe's at A, already having a tick, but that's 2 ticks in at B.
2 ticks in at B, and that's even with 2 of your main specialist pops. So if you're Red, great. We'll take that every day of the week.
And now Zero and Joe, the Saw, is able to find a couple of kills. Octane, though, in a sneaky position. We'll see what he can find. The challenge should be there, and there it is from Zero. So that should be the A site.
Able to try and just harass Red Reserve as much as he can towards Broken. Priesta here with him as well. Nice one-on-one win from Vance to find the opening, but Slasher still with a presence here. They haven't been able to clear them out of Broken quite yet. Now Slasher should finally get cleaned up, but you still have who's at 4 and 5, enabling Kenny. And a good spot to try and stagger this, but Rated with a nice one-on-one win. Last player to deal with is Enable. Rated finds him as well. I spoke too soon because Priesta's pushed right up to this front bus as well. But Rated, it's just in cruise control right now. That's 4 in a row for him yet again. Pushed out to 26-10.
Well, that would have been a big push for Red Reserve, but on the other side, it was actually Octane who found 3 kills. So just the ICRs on both ends of this street, just really controlling the tempo. 2 of the best ICRs in the game. It's fun to see them go head-to-head. And right as I thought they were going to, Priesta takes off Rated's head. But 100 Thieves is down 3 lives, and they've got to win this round to try and push it to that 5th and final round in control. Priesta has his grab slam. If Red are able to get in, he might be able to soar in behind that. On the other end of things for Red, it's just really Vance. As he dies, he does have that Tempest, though. This is what we were talking about. Because this is such a long round, you can see those yellow circles in the top right from Red Reserve. They are loading on in. Like, Scraps is 3/4 of the way, so if we do go to a round 5, he should have it. Yeah, but, we talk about getting those, but obviously, it all depends on the use, too. We've seen several come in and do nothing, so it's not everything, but definitely worth noting where we'll sit if we even get to this round 5, and we may not. 3 are going to drop. They only need to get 1 more tick. They're stacking inside. Vance has got the Tempest out. Priesta tries to go high. He's picked out of the sky, and there it is. Red, with the final tick, they'll get the victory on control as 2 Titans in that game mode go head-to-head. It's Red with the last laugh. But now we get back to a hard point, at least for the first hard point.
Red got rolled. It was about, what, 100-point victory, 400 Thieves. 100 Thieves been touted as the best hardpoint team in the game. It's looking like it might be another Red Game 5.
But this is what we were talking about, you know, after that EG match for 100 Thieves, there is going to be a point where they are going to be tested, right? Like, there's just too many good teams here. You know, now you lose a respawn, you're down 2-1 in a series. How are the vibes? How are you guys going to try to bounce back? And then if we do go to a Game 5, you have to win one.
That's absolutely true. I want to see what's going on in some of these other matches. We've got Bravo, Charlie, Delta, action going on everywhere here in Fort Worth. We'll get it right back over to the desk.
We do certainly have a lot going on. We're going to swing over right now to Bravo, Midnight, and LG.
And it's over.
Close that out right now.
Welcome to Bravo. Now it's over. LG get the win.
That was
just
a great
like
match.
That. So amazing
match.
match. You love that ending where they got the kills in 3 seconds. Wow.
Very thrilling.
Well played by LG. Well played.
Amazing job on that last though. What more can you say?
I mean, against Midnight though, LG, you know, struggled to get their win earlier, but against Midnight, Chance, what are you thinking?
Well, it's kind of tough to say. Like coming into the tournament, I was expecting what, LG and Spice to get the 2-0 against those two teams with basically no difficulty at all. Again, it's a roster that has had a week or a week and a half to get together, so low expectations, but both the teams took their opponent to Game 5, both took LG and Spice to Game 5 and looked pretty solid, but obviously solid's not going to be good enough. Like now Midnight falls again, and it's a close map, which I'm a little bit surprised by, but they're going to have to start getting these wins because, again, if you fall 0-2, it doesn't make a difference here in loser's bracket. Every match is going to be tough.
Pac, what are you thinking about what we're seeing out of 100 Thieves and Red Reserve right now?
Joe brought it up earlier today. He said the reason why we're so harsh on Red Reserve is because their skill ceiling is so high. Like we expect so much from them. If they can win those searches like they did just here, they can be a team that can win tournaments. They need to win those searches consistently. If they do that, they can do it. Like 100 Thieves is not the best search team, but taking one is still a step in the right direction. They lost both their search and destroys earlier. It resulted in a loss.
I mean, and this is a bit like, you know, just recency bias coming from me, but they seem to be a team that consistently put themselves in really good positions and then just can't close out games or close out maps, whatever it is. Like that's a Game 5 earlier that they had that, like, in my mind, they probably should have won, or at least the players definitely felt like they should have won. I think Raider was tweeting out, he's like, we're making plays as if this were league play. We're playing the best teams in the world, but obviously you just saw in that control, when they're on point, they are incredibly good.
All right, looks like we're ready to get back into things, so we're going to send it back over to Clint and Joe.
Thanks for the update, guys. Yeah, we'll get right back into this. Is now 100 Thieves for the first time. I know we're barely into day one, but for the first time, facing a deficit right now. Down 1-2 to Red Reserve. Red Reserve trying to answer probably some early question marks, just considering their Game 5 loss to kick things off. But Red, I mean, you could say they desperately need to win already. Like, you go down 0-2 in your pool, you're looking at possibly loser's bracket right out the gate.
You probably are.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably definitely, because we don't have an open team coming in, like you said. Like,
unless there's some three-way tie where there's 3 teams who are 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's true. You mentioned earlier, I was even thinking about that. Like, usually, you know, you lose the first 2, you have a chance, but now, not really.
Well, that's what we were talking about on the desk. Like, this Friday, these are 3 very important matches. You don't have a team who can come save you. And the thing is, with 3 matches, you know, within hours of each other, things can spiral out of control.
Think about the times we saw that last year where it was like a FaZe team or a Rise Nation team that got bailed out by some crazy scenario on Saturday. That's true. That's true. You don't have that potential bailout anymore. So a huge one here for Red. 100 Thieves can, I guess you could say, afford the loss considering they already have a 3-0 on the board, but you can't be thinking that way. You're looking to cement your spot into the winner's bracket.
Well, it's just one of those things, right, that when you look at it, how does the winner's bracket end up if one of these guys finishes second, right? Like, just right off the start, you could have a crazy matchup in winners round 1.
You certainly could. Red Reserve doing a much better job than they did in the opening to the first hard point. Not a lot of time, at least, when you talk about either side for the first hard point, but now they have the early setup here at Lambeau. It's Kenny trying to make a play through water, but multiple players really trying to make this push. They find an opening. There's a 2-2 split. There's still a presence here. Red still work to do. Advance really with his angle in the back, just finding as many kills as he can, but now the kill feed's starting to light up gray as 100 Thieves able to break in. It's Scraps and Connector, though, and Zero coming off spawn that find the opening to fight right back in. So we cast this map many times. It is usually, despite the size of it, quite chaotic due to the spawns around these particular hardpoints.
Yeah, just how easy it is to sort of traverse the map, right? Like with all the hallways, the way you can just man all the connectors, like.
Well, it's just tough
it's bigger, yes, but it is.
It's tough to spawn teams out far, though.
Yep.
Like, usually you're getting a close spawn on either side of it, unless you get that perfect setup. but what a different scoreline versus, 100-20 or whatever it was through game 1. So now it's Red Reserve with a bit of a lead.
Enable's in a lot of trouble though. You see 4 players from Red Reserve just trying to push through these outer fences. Be able to find one. Doesn't have much help. Slasher just trying to watch over him with that Maddox, but Zero scraps rated, all able to win gunfights, and Red Reserve able to get into the hill.
But with that close spawn for 100 Thieves, as soon as you call that out, they're right back into
just
the
what we
mix
were
and
talking
fences.
about.
Yeah, it's just, it seems like no matter, unless you have that perfect spawn, you're spawning in a position where you get back to the hard point in under 5 seconds. Like you can just continue to flood and flood and flood. You've seen a bit of that from either end of it, but now with 15 seconds remaining, 100 Thieves inside, they should be able to take the lead away from Red Reserve as it will now start to focus on the transition to our next hard point. Gunfights going down in the back, 2 in a row there for 100 Thieves. Some nice damage in from Octane, but he can't actually finish the kill.
Yeah,
so now we'll get to
behind
Rock.
him. Yeah, one player spawned behind him. That was Scraps. I think they found a couple of kills before the next hill pops. They were trying to push it, maybe get some bad spawns for Red Reserve, but Red able to hold on.
And this is one of the hard points where, if you can get pushed out towards Boathouse, towards Lambo, you can get a bit of a deeper spawn. You see where they're popping right now for 100 Thieves. This is exactly what you want. If you're Red, give you a little bit of breathing room, but as I say that, you see the close Boathouse spawn, and now a chance for 100 Thieves to create an opening for themselves. It's Zero patrolling water, but his Priesta attacks from deep. I thought for a second they get in, but it's just going to be contested for now. And honestly, just not really a ton of points on the board really from either end, just due to how heavily contested it's been through the opening rotation.
Yeah, just so back and forth. Yeah, you had that early setup from Red Reserve, but a couple of kills the other way, 100 Thieves, which then again allows them to create those Boathouse spawns. So the contest was there very quickly. But a solid start for Red Reserve. Bance especially 13-6, able to find his streaks as well.
We'll see where and when those streaks come into play. We'll now get into our first hard point in the second set of rotations. Everyone fighting for top hallway control, but it'll be Red just inside trying to soak up time. The one-on-one goes to Raid in the hard point, so he'll continue to do his damage there. I know he gets traded out almost immediately. That's a good cross from Joe. I know he survives with a sliver of health, but now he's able to get in and get time. There's nobody top pulls from him. He's one bullet away from more than likely that not being 10 to 15 seconds towards the way of Red. But 100 Thieves behind Priesta were able to contest and ultimately take control of the hard point. But right now, Red doubling up their opponents.
In Red Reserve, they did a great job just controlling that rock side and garage side. You saw Zero. He put a couple of shots into a player, realized there's 2 to 3 there. Saw they had TAC 5 boost popped as well, so he goes in with that grab slam. And this just gives them some map control. But just as I say that, 100 Thieves find a couple of kills, and now it's Priest's turn with the grab slam. But we do see sometimes that player blows up the car, right, ends up in a team killer, so you got to be careful.
And including today, over their last 16 hard points, 100 Thieves are 14-2, because it was 12-2 coming into this weekend, right? Yep. So 14-2. But right now, trailing big. Priesta, though, it's the grab slam that gets him in, but the contest still here. Red Reserve have done such a good job of, even when they lose control, just having someone in a position to contest. But now, as we saw streaks earn for Bance, an opportunity for Priesta, as he is on 3 in a row at 19 and 15.
Oh, the pressure was still there as well from Red Reserve. They realized the situation. They know they probably left Priesta behind. And they say, you know what, these last 15 seconds are ours.
And it seems like some of these maps that they're struggling on, like, it's just been a couple guys struggling. Like, what, in the Search and Destroy, it was Enable and Priesta who have really stepped it up here, but now you have Slasher uncharacteristically at double negative at 7 and 14.
Octane as well, and you know, a map like Hacienda, you want your ICR to get rolling. And it could just be doing to how well Bance has been playing. It rated as well with their ARs.
Very well, more than likely is that. The influence of how sensational Red Reserve has been playing throughout. And they're now at fences. 100 Thieves able to get in and contest. War Machine gonna be out. Slasher does connect on one, still one grenade here to work with. Does some damage, but won't finish the kill. But thankfully for him, his teammates got his back, and they're collecting the seconds here. 20 seconds left. That'll get them, what, down 50 or so if they pick up the remaining time.
Yeah, this has been their best hold for a while, but once again, Red Reserve, they just push the final 15. They don't care. They're going to get these final 10
Is it because they have a
seconds.
big lead? They think they can hit scrap? Just
Well, yeah, I think it's based on what we were talking about, though, where Hacienda, you don't get punished that hard for spawning out.
Not
They
really,
say, you know
yeah.
what, we'll have a couple of opportunities, and guess what? They hit the scrap time, plus they're the first in the hill.
It's just an example of, something we talked about last year with Red Reserve and Hardpoint, a little bit scrappier, not always having the flashiest stats, but they'll out-scrap you. Is that what you're seeing here against 100 Thieves?
Yeah, it is. Plus the slaying is
Well, it helps
slightly
that that's
going
there
their
too.
way,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're just going for it. They're pushing their time. They understand the map very well. Tempest is out on both ends. Octane able to connect with a couple, but he has no backup, nobody to clean up those kills.
Yeah, I think the one player he knocked down into water was Joe, but Joe just gets back up and ends up punishing him as he's able to push through. Joe right back into water, but can't finish the kill. Enable ends up finding a couple in a row. But as Red continues to get the time, it's like the game one, just the opposite side of the spectrum. Like 100 Thieves enjoyed that 100-point or so lead throughout. Red Reserve's comfortably been up, 60+ points throughout the course of this. Now it's just wondering if 100 Thieves are at some point going to end up making a run. They're the best hardpoint team in the game. You think it's going to erupt here at some point, but set up mid-map. Once again, Red Reserve is there in the hard point.
And again, you just see 2 to 3 kills in that kill feed, all Red. Like, if you're gonna make the comeback, your gun's gotta get hot. You have to earn streaks. We've talked about it time and time again, how scrappy this map is. It's so tough when you're down 100 points to somehow make a comeback.
It's just so different to Arsenal. Even though they're two of our bigger hardpoint maps, just the nature of the spawns with regards to the hardpoints couldn't play out more differently. Red so close to closing out this series, and you gotta think like they're playing with a little bit more desperation than someone like 100 Thieves. They came in, maybe feeling cocky, they got that 3-0 victory. Red came in, just backs against the wall immediately. They know how important this is, that they want to get in the winner's bracket, what might be a must-win game for them, and now they're 15 points away.
Think what it starts with. It starts with them finally winning a search and destroy. They win that game 2, they win a control, and then, momentum is on their side. They're not dug into a hole where maybe they're down 0-2. You go to a game 5, whatever it is. This is finally the Red Reserve team. This is a glimpse.
How many times have we
Yeah.
asked, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is this the win that starts to get them on the map, show the potential that we've all thought was there? A team that you think has a chance to make a run at a title, but we just haven't seen it yet this year. But what a big series this would be for them in the scheme of their pool and their chances throughout the course of the weekend.
And what a big couple of matches we've seen from EU teams. Reciprocity takes down Optic in the game 5. This would be a big upset as well.
Vegas is a story of no one from EU really showing up, right? Like everyone is kind of getting throttled.
Yep.
A very different day one to at least start here at Fort Worth. But it's not quite over yet.
100 Thieves has fought back a good amount here at Garage. Bance still has that Hellstorm if he wants to use it. And if they get into trouble, well, he's going to call it in on this rotation. I don't know if I agree with that because they're all inside. Maybe you find Octane, you do. That helps them at least get those players safe into that hill, at least for now. But Priesta and Slasher, they're able to find a couple of kills, but it's just going to be so difficult. They have to get pushed out so far to hold fences.
100 Thieves somehow staying alive. I don't think this is a map that we've seen a lot of those major comebacks. We've seen a handful on Arsenal, most of them on C-side for sure.
Yeah.
Frequency, yeah, as well. Now, I can't think of many off the top of my head where we've had like 100-point comebacks on Hacienda. But second by second, it gets a bit closer. Priesta goes ahead and uses the grab slam. The kill's starting to come in. Priesta getting close to streaks as well. And he's on 5 in a row with 30 and 25.
They need these streaks from Priesta, especially at Rock, because they're probably not going to win rotation in the next hill. The pressure's still here from Red Reserve. You see number 10, Zero going to rotate. But if you can get these streaks, you can stop that rotation and at least buy your team time. There's the Lightning. And I imagine you might call it right away. Yeah, he's going to call it right away.
Here it goes, the Lightning in, enable the first down to the hard point. Now 244. This comeback will be one of the most insane ones that we've seen in Black Ops 4. Only 6 more seconds needed for Red.
Yeah, grab slam on Zero. Can he find anything? He's gonna do. He finds nothing.
He got stunned. It slows him down. The Hellstorm comes in. He picks up Zero. For this comeback, still so possible. They can't win it here. It's the second off. You don't have to contest anything if you're Red Reserve. Traps uses that War Machine. They fight through. Now 3 seconds needed from Water. It'll preview Priestess to try and get it in contest. They can't do it. Red just barely hold on. The run from 100 Thieves. I feel like it was 5 minutes ago I asked, like, when's that run gonna come? It finally did, but too little, too late. His 100 Thieves come up a little bit short, and Red get a much needed victory, Joe.
Yeah, great performance out of Red. It just felt like you didn't even see the deep size out of those guys after that map.